What's going on, gardeners? For decades, the gardening world has operated under a persistent myth, the idea that lettuce is strictly a seasonal vegetable. Most home growers treat it as a fleeting guest in the garden, something to be enjoyed briefly in the mild weeks of spring, and then promptly forgotten once the summer heat arrives or the winter frost settles in. But I'm here to tell you that you've likely been growing lettuce wrong your entire life. Lettuce isn't just a spring staple, it is a foundational, 365-day-a-year crop that belongs in your garden every single day. Right alongside your heavy-hitting summer crops like tomatoes and peppers. In this comprehensive guide, we are going to deconstruct the misconceptions surrounding this resilient green. We will explore how a strategic combination of specific variety selection and simple, low-cost infrastructure can transform your garden into a year-round salad bar. Whether you are battling 90-degree heat waves or freezing temperatures that dip into the teens, the secret lies in understanding the unique biology of different lettuce types and providing the correct microclimate. By the end of this breakdown, you will have the blueprint to stop relying on wilted supermarket greens and start harvesting fresh from your backyard every single month. Before we begin, I'd love to hear from you. Where are you watching this video from? And what time is it right now? Leave a comment below. I can't wait to see your answers. To master year-round lettuce production, the first and most critical hurdle isn't the weather. It is your mindset. For generations, traditional gardening calendars have pigeonholed lettuce as a cool weather crop, a fleeting luxury of April and October. This limited perspective has led many gardeners to abandon their salad patches just when the kitchen needs them most. We must redefine lettuce not as a seasonal guest, but as a permanent resident of the garden. Lettuce is a foundational food. If you look at your grocery list, it is likely one of the few items that remains constant regardless of the month. Yet there is a profound irony in the way we garden. We spend months anticipating the big summer harvest of tomatoes, peppers, and cucumbers, completely ignoring the fact that these vegetables are the natural companions to a fresh salad. By relegating lettuce to the fringes of the season, we miss the opportunity to harvest a complete, homegrown meal. The reality is that lettuce can thrive alongside your heat-loving nightshades in July, just as easily as it can survive the frost that kills your summer vines in November. The 365-day secret rests on two non-negotiable pillars: genetic selection and microclimate management. First, we must acknowledge that lettuce is not a monolith. Within the Lactuca sativa species, there is a massive range of genetic diversity. Some varieties have evolved to thrive in the high-altitude chill of the mountains, while others have been bred to resist the bolting pressure of Mediterranean summers. Most failures in year-round growing occur because gardeners try to force a winter-hardy variety to grow in the heat, or vice versa. Success begins with respecting the DNA of the plant. Second, we must utilize simple infrastructure to bridge the gap between the plant's needs and the environment's reality. You do not need an expensive, climate-controlled industrial greenhouse to grow food in the winter or summer. Instead, you need to understand the concept of a microclimate. By using low-cost tools like PVC hoop houses or specialized shade cloths, you are essentially negotiating with the weather. You are softening the blow of the coldest nights and filtering the intensity of the hottest afternoons. When you combine the right genetics with basic environmental protection, the calendar ceases to be a restriction. You stop being a gardener who is at the mercy of the seasons and start becoming a producer who manages them. When the thermometer begins to plummet and the soil turns brittle with frost, most gardeners assume the life of their vegetable patch has come to an end. However, the secret to a midwinter harvest lies in the specific DNA of the seeds you sow. To grow lettuce in the dead of winter, you must move away from the standard green grocery store varieties and look toward the cold-hardy warriors of the lettuce world, the red, ruffled leaf varieties. Two standout performers in this category are Red Sails and Marvel of Four Seasons, Merveille des Quatre Saisons. These aren't just aesthetically pleasing plants. Their physical characteristics are functional adaptations to extreme cold. You will notice that both varieties share two distinct traits: intense red pigmentation and highly ruffled or crinkled leaf structures. The red color is more than just decoration. It is caused by high concentrations of anthocyanins. In the plant kingdom, these pigments act as a form of biological antifreeze, protecting plant tissues from the crystalline damage caused by freezing temperatures. Furthermore, dark, red pigmented leaves are more efficient at absorbing solar radiation, even on a weak, pale winter day. These plants can trap more heat from the sun than their light green counterparts, maintaining a slightly higher internal temperature. In real-world garden conditions, these varieties have shown staggering resilience. While most vegetation turns to mush when temperatures hit the mid-20s Fahrenheit, red sails and marvel of 4 seasons can withstand plunges into the teens, as low as 14 or 15 degrees Fahrenheit, minus 9 degrees Celsius, completely unprotected. They may appear wilted or frozen solid in the early morning, but as the sun rises, their cells rehydrate and regain turgor pressure. If a sudden extreme cold snap causes minor browning on the edges, the plant remains alive. You simply peel away the outer damaged leaves to reveal a perfectly crisp, sweet heart within. It is vital to contrast these with popular varieties like romaine. While many believe romaine is hardy because it is a cool season crop, it is actually quite fragile in the face of a hard freeze. A standard green romaine can handle a light frost, 30 to 32 degrees Fahrenheit. But once the temperature dips into the low 20s, the cellular structure collapses, leading to catastrophic plant death. If you are a fan of the romaine texture but need winter durability, your only viable option is a red leaf romaine. These hybrids bridge the gap, offering the upright structure of a romaine with the added frost resistance of the red pigments, allowing them to survive down to the low 20s or upper teens with minimal protection. Selecting the right warrior for the season is 90% of the battle. As the calendar turns toward June, and the thermometer consistently hits the 90-degree mark, most home gardeners pull up their lettuce and replace it with peppers. The common belief is that lettuce cannot handle heat. While it's true that many varieties will bolt, a process where the plant rapidly sends up a flower stalk and produces bitter, milky sap, this is not an inevitability for the entire species. The secret to summer success lies in switching your strategy from the cold, hardy red leaf varieties to the heat-tolerant romaine family. In the height of summer, your best ally is a variety like Giant Caesar. Unlike the delicate, ruffled leaves of winter lettuce, heat-tolerant romaines are bred with a robust cellular structure and a genetic resistance to bolting. In my own trials, even during a 2-week drought, with temperatures hovering at or above 90 degrees Fahrenheit, 32 degrees Celsius, these plants showed no signs of heat stress. They remained upright, vibrant, and, most importantly, sweet. The primary enemy of summer lettuce isn't just the heat itself, but the plant's biological clock. When a plant senses extreme environmental stress, its survival instinct kicks in to reproduce before it dies. This results in the bittering effect. However, varieties like Giant Caesar have a delayed bolting response. This allows the head to reach full, massive proportions, true to its name, while maintaining the crisp, tender quality of the leaves. To maximize the quality of your summer romaine, harvest timing is crucial. Even with a heat-tolerant variety, the flavor profile can shift if the plant is left in the sun too long once it reaches maturity. The goal is to harvest as soon as the head feels firm and the leaves have reached their peak size. A successful summer harvest should yield leaves that are deep green and snap cleanly with a high water content. If you can grow a head of lettuce that is indistinguishable from a spring harvest in the middle of a June heat wave, you have mastered the art of variety rotation. By selecting a romaine with proven heat resistance, you ensure that your all-year-round garden doesn't take a vacation just because the sun is out. While selecting the right cold-hardy genetics is the foundation of winter gardening, The environment often requires a bit of human intervention to ensure consistent growth. Many gardeners in colder climates, zones 5, 6, or 7, mistakenly believe that a frozen landscape means an empty garden. However, the secret to winter success isn't about creating a tropical oasis. It's about managing two specific threats: wind desiccation and extreme nighttime temperature plunges. This is where low-cost infrastructure like PVC hoop houses and cold frames becomes indispensable. The primary function of a hoop house or cold frame is to act as a solar battery. Even in the dead of winter, when the ambient air temperature is below freezing, the sun provides a significant amount of energy. A simple structure covered with greenhouse plastic or heavy-duty agricultural fabric captures this solar radiation, warming the soil and the air trapped inside. In many regions, while the outside temperature may drop into the single digits at night, the internal temperature of a protected bed can soar into the 60s or 70s during a sunny day. This daily warm-up is vital. It allows the plant's metabolic processes to resume, repairing any minor cellular damage from the night before and encouraging slow but steady growth. Building these structures does not require a massive investment. A PVC hoop house can be constructed using 1/2-inch PVC pipes bent into arches over your garden beds and secured with rebar. For the covering, you have two main options: greenhouse plastic for maximum heat retention, or frost blankets, breathable fabric, for moderate protection. The key advantage here is the elimination of the wind chill factor. Much of the winter damage seen in lettuce isn't caused by the cold itself, but by freezing winds that strip moisture from the leaves faster than the frozen roots can replace it, a process known as desiccation. By providing a physical windbreak, you drastically increase the plant's survivability. For those in truly extreme climates, the cold frame or earth box method is even more effective. By digging a shallow pit or using a low wooden box topped with a glass or polycarbonate lid, you tap into the thermal mass of the earth. The soil stays significantly warmer than the air, and a well-sealed cold frame can keep lettuce thriving even when the surrounding ground is covered in snow. These simple, cheap interventions transform your garden from a seasonal hobby into a year-round production facility, proving that with a little engineering, the dead of winter can be quite lively. While winter gardening is a battle against the cold, summer gardening is a high-stakes game of light management. In many regions, the transition from late spring to high summer happens with a sudden intensity that can decimate a healthy lettuce patch in just a few days. Even if you have selected the most heat-tolerant romaine varieties, the sheer volume of UV radiation and infrared heat during a 12-hour summer day can be overwhelming. The definitive solution to this challenge is the strategic implementation of 40% shade cloth. Why 40%? This specific density is the Goldilocks zone for leafy greens. A 20% cloth often provides insufficient cooling, while a 60% or 70% cloth may block too much sunlight, leading to leggy plants that stretch for light and lose their structural integrity. A 40% shade tarp strikes the perfect balance. It filters out enough solar energy to drastically reduce the leaf surface temperature, often by 10 to 15 degrees, while still allowing enough photosynthetically active radiation, PAR, to reach the leaves. This reduction in temperature is the key to preventing the plant's biological clock from triggering bolting. By keeping the microclimate cooler than the surrounding ambient air, you effectively trick the lettuce into thinking it is still a mild spring day. The physical application of shade cloth is as important as the material itself. To be most effective, the cloth should not rest directly on the plants. Instead, it should be suspended 12 to 24 inches above the crop. This creates a buffer zone of moving air, allowing heat to dissipate rather than being trapped against the foliage. Using a simple framework of PVC pipes or rebar, you can drape the cloth over your beds. Modern shade tarps often come with reinforced grommets, making them easy to secure with garden staples or zip ties. ensuring they remain in place even during summer thunderstorms. Beyond just cooling, shade cloth serves as a vital tool for moisture conservation. In full summer sun, lettuce, which is over 90% water, transpires at an incredible rate. The shade reduces this evaporation from both the leaves and the soil, keeping the plants hydrated and the tissues crisp. By investing in this simple bit of infrastructure, you extend your harvest window through the dog days of summer, ensuring that while other gardeners are staring at empty beds, you are still enjoying the crunch of fresh, homegrown greens. Growing lettuce 365 days a year is not an impossible feat reserved for industrial farms or professional botanists. It is the natural result of aligning plant biology with smart environmental management. Throughout this comprehensive guide, we have dismantled the myth of seasonality by focusing on the three critical pillars of year-round success: the strategic rotation of genetics between cold-hardy and heat-tolerant varieties, the engineering of winter microclimates using simple hoop houses to trap earth heat, and the tactical use of shade cloth to neutralize the brutal intensity of the summer sun. There is a unique, profound satisfaction in harvesting a crisp, vibrant head of lettuce while the ground is covered in snow, or while the mid-July heat waves are at their peak. By mastering these techniques, you aren't just growing food. You are building self-reliance and ensuring your kitchen remains stocked with high-quality, nutrient-dense greens, regardless of what the calendar says. I encourage you to take these lessons and apply them to your own backyard. Start with just one new variety and one simple protective structure, and watch as your harvest window expands from a few weeks to an entire year. Thank you so much for joining me in this masterclass on year-round lettuce cultivation. If you found this information valuable and want to see more deep dives into high productivity gardening, please consider subscribing to the channel and ringing the notification bell. Don't forget to check the links in the description for the specific tools and seeds we discussed today. Until next time, keep growing, stay resilient, and I'll see you in the next video.